Moin, I'm Catherine. I'm still in bed with these amazing women. Aimee Bender, author of all the books are lying over here, except for one, because yours is lying over there. Yeah, you can see it in the check it in the picture because it's not my picture. And Marisa Matarazzo. We just did an interview. We just did a book tag video. I'm going to link those in the corner. We had so much fun. I think they're totally worth watching.
Good.
And if you're looking for big book recommendations, there are so many books mentioned. I'm talking very, very quick now because we have to go. We are now talking about one of my favorites of the last couple of years, actually. Yeah. Station 11 by Emily St John Mandel. Mandel. Do you know her?
No, never.
I would like to know her.
Yeah.
It's her only novel. So, no, it's not. It's her fourth. I have to read. Did you read anything else?
I haven't read her other work, but I don't think it's her first book. Yeah.
No, I think when I looked it up on Wikipedia yesterday, just to write down the names. I do definitely have to read her other stuff. So can you just quickly try to tell us what the story is about?
So it's tricky because there are spoilers, but it is a book that has two different
parts. Try to keep it as less spoily because the big thing happens in the beginning, so we can spoil that.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Well, you find that you're half in the world of an actor and the kind of people surrounding him and the drama of his life, and then you're also in the world of a world calamity where you find out at the end of the first section that there is a flu epidemic and that 98% of the world within a week, 2 weeks dies.
I think it even says that on the blurb, so it's not a big spoiler.
Okay. Yeah. But so then you're playing out the aftermath of what happens to the world. There are these sort of small groups. There's a group of sort of theater and orchestra people doing entertainment, Shakespeare and orchestra throughout these towns. And there's some link ups with the actor and his world. But really, she does this imagining that I think many of us do, but she does very well and to great detailed extent of how would our world, our kind of fully realized, complicated, crowded world, what happens if a lot of it just falls away, there are dead bodies in the streets, and you're trying to survive. And she imagines it incredibly well, in such a way that I read the book and I really like the book, but I have thought of it so many times since because
it sticks with you.
It sticks with you, and because even though I actually don't think we're at the end of the world, there is a feeling right now of being at the end of the world. And so how do we imagine all these sort of conveniences that we've gotten used to being stripped away? I mean,
with all those biological weapons lying around everywhere, it's just not unrealistic. It could.
Right. It could. It could.
I mean, not that it is. It's just actually a virus. Yeah. It's a flu virus that kills everybody off. Yeah. But also that. I mean, we've seen parts of it. Totally. Yeah. What was it to you on a personal level?
Well, I think it was several things. One is that there's really seeing someone use their mind, because I think the part about the actor and that storyline I really liked, but the real part that stuck with me was her imagining of the state of our world and how it was navigated by these different characters. That's the part I think about repeatedly. And it was seeing her kind of address it on this micro level that felt to me something, I guess, just acknowledging about human capacity and how we navigate the world. And I guess personally, what are the things that I'm very used to in my life that are not necessary, but that feel necessary. And how many things like that there are, all the cell towers go down, no one can monitor them. There's no all this connective tissue that we're so reliant on now being severed. And so I think that it felt helpful. It's like someone's thinking it through for you and with you. And I think that felt meaningful to me somehow. And meaningful to think about, what does apocalypse mean and what, and just the other day there was a grounded flight coming from Dubai and because of a flu, and all these people on Twitter were like, anyone who's read Station 11 is freaking out right now. Yeah. And it was like about 100 people were coughing, but 10 of them had the flu and they're now being treated, but it's not like a deathly flu. But it triggers this terror and our vulnerability. I think that's the thing, is we are vulnerable. I feel vulnerable. I also at times forget that I'm as vulnerable as I am. Yes, you are. And the book is
What also really got to me, the things that we are used to in everyday life and what it actually means if everything falls away. Yeah. And how easy that would be. You cannot just Google anything, anyone. You cannot call anyone. And,
Right.
That's If you're wondering why it's mainly us speaking, we just had a good vibe going on, but Marisa hasn't read the book, but we just wanted her to be in here.
Yes. Stay in bed. Exactly.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. Did you identify with any one of the characters?
kind of identified with all of them. For some reason, one that comes to mind that's sort of a peripheral character is the guy who is in the airport hangar. Clive?
Is it Clark, like the best, like Arthur's best friend?
Yeah.
Like former best friend? I'm pretty sure it's...
Right. I found him really interesting because he was a very grounding character to read about. So yeah, in some ways... Yeah, and he's at different moments sort of observing the life, and then he's also there at that airport sort of figuring out the details of what's going to happen. So I think he just felt like really important to
me.
Starts the museum.
He starts the museum.
Yes, that's right.
He starts a museum of like, random like credit cards, because credit cards are completely useless now.
Exactly. And in some ways he's the role of the writer because he's the one... standing back a bit and considering what's going on.
And he holds a lot of the connections of the story too. Like he knows
exactly
how people belong to each other and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Was there anything that you liked? Yeah, I mean, I guess we already said that you particularly liked how she imagined this world after that.
Yeah.
I have to say I especially like because there's also a sort of a prophet, self-pronounced prophet.
Right.
And I always like it in the story when it gets down to what being overly cultish religious and trying to press your religious thoughts on other people can do, and how those people mostly will turn out to be completely assholes and do the thing with wanting to have like several 15-year-old wives and stuff like that. And it repeats itself in history. It's just true.
Right. Over and over.
And I always like that if stories get down to that and demask prophets and like using religion as what it is, using religion
as a kind of
for
power
horses.
Leverage. Right. Yeah. Right. As a kind of control technique.
I like that very much.
Yeah. That was well done.
Was there anything that annoyed you?
It didn't annoy me, but I think I just found it interesting to me just to note myself as a reader how the thing that felt the most emotionally engaging was the world building as opposed to the character. I just find that interesting how sometimes it seems like the character is the one that holds the emotion. And there were emotional, like I was interested in that story, but my deeper emotional connection was to the sense of calamity and how that was handled.
True. Now that you mention it, it's the same for me.
And I think it's just, as a teacher too, it just feels like that interesting question of like, is the emotion in the story inside the character? Maybe not. And if not, where is it? And like thinking of someone like Borges or someone where it's like the emotion sort of lands in like setting or just totally unexpected places or idea. And that, so I think...
Yeah. Okay.
I think that about it.
Like, if you have to imagine it actually happened, I always try to put some like personal questions in there.
Sure.
What do you think would you miss? I mean, you obviously have given it some sort of thought. What would you miss the most?
Oh, man. I mean, I think I've gotten kind of addicted to those connective tools. So I think because they are ways to connect us to people that we love, the people that I love are spread out over the country, even sometimes the world. And that would be very hard not to be able to immediately talk to them. That would be devastating.
Yeah. I can give that question to you too. Like, imagine the world breaks down and there's no electricity anymore, no internet, no anything.
I think electricity might be...
I mean, it goes with the electricity.
Running water.
Running water. Yeah. But I was thinking is there someone in your life that you would like look to immediately and go like, I'm following this person?
Oh, that's such a good question.
During this catastrophe. I'm trailing after the guy with the bag of carabiners.
I have a friend, Christine, who I always feels like would have been in the covered wagons. Like she's so good with like growing things and land and animals. I would definitely try to find her. Yeah. I think she would know what to do.
Giving the back question right back.
Well, I actually think Jamie would be really nice. An amazing problem solver. So I would definitely. Jamie's my wife.
Yeah,
and I would follow her. Yeah. And then also I was thinking, because I think about this sometimes when I teach, is if there is some sort of disaster in the classroom,
right?
who in this classroom would sort of alpha the situation.
Yeah.
If for whatever reason.
Think about that?
Yeah, I thought about it.
Oh my god.
Makes sense.
I had a student who was a Navy SEAL at a point in his life, and I remember thinking like, "Oh, I'll follow you."
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys so much, even for taking the time after we ran out of time. And we're just going to quickly say bye to the internet one last time.
Goodbye,
Internet.
But hopefully not one last time, because hopefully we're going to meet again.
Yeah. For now.
For now.
Ciao. Moin, I'm Catherine. Today I'm in bed with Aimee Bender and Marisa Matarazzo. You're both authors. Getting to the more, in bed with questions.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, girls.
Yeah.
What happened last night?